Hey guys, it's your boy Brainsy. Welcome to day 115 for Workout Grind. It's currently chest day, and I'm increasing my reps, my guys. Pray for me. Pray for me. Before I do my grind, I would just like to say, I hope you guys kept your consistency and stay cool. As you can see from the title of this stream, I'm stressed at the moment. It's just things that are going the background of my life, there's so many things going on. I don't know what to do, man. For instance, my student visa is expiring. That's never good. That's never good. So what's happening is that um I'm stressed. I'm stressed on how I do this. How I cope up transition from student visa to fucking to working visa. What? Sorry, I'm just editing some things out, and it's apparently really difficult for you to type while editing some stuff out. So I'm just gonna focus here. Legs, chest, shoulders. Legs, chest, delts. Legs, chest, shoulders, I guess, and triceps. That's it. That's the only tricep. All right, whatever. Whatever. So yeah, very stressed because I'm currently dealing with some networking. I just bought a subscription with Claude, so I'm programming, building projects, fucking learning, actually learning the framework, not just vibe coding. Networking, applying for jobs, but I'm starting to slow things down because there's a lot. While also maintaining my workouts, I'm also maintaining my. I'm supposed to pass my fucking assessments. Oh my god. I forgot. I forgot. Shit. My bad. My bad. My bad. Okay. Right. I'm trying to be a good student here. I finished this assessment weeks ago. I'm just trying to not pass this early to not make it obvious that I just prompted all my fucking projects. It's a pretty fucking mid project. I mean mid thing. Trust me, trust me. 613. Okay, okay, okay. Didn't I? Didn't I? Whatever, man. Okay, I've submitted. What is 622? Oh, it's the one that I've done this. Sorry, I'm just doing something in the background. I'll finish soon. Don't worry. 62, right? Shut up. Chill, 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 chill. Fuck. Yeah, 60 to 20. Sorry, it's 60 to 20. You sure? Oh no, that's not it. Oh yeah, right. Um, 622. EN 622. Fucking yeah, 62. So I'm done with this. Don't worry about it. That uh and I might just delay for a bit. But yeah, I'm really stressed because other than that, I'm quite stretched, quite stretched with a lot of things that I've been doing in the background. Really? Mm. And yeah, I'm kind of lost. I'm kind of scared. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Dead ass. Um, I'm trusting God that He will help me with this. I pray for my future. I pray for all this, you know. But I just gotta keep going. It's a pretty scary place. Life is unpredictable. Unpredictable. It tries to break me. It tries to make me feel like a piece of shit. But just don't let it, man. Enjoy God's gift to enjoy God's grace. Anyways, that's what I'm doing. Anyways, I kind of changed the sequence of my fucking workout. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. Trust me. Alright, so let's get this party started. Just how you guys been doing, by the way? You still doing your grind, me? I hope when you see this you'll be like the type shit that I've been looking for, bro. Yeah, now. Cool guy, coolguy.com. I don't know the definition of what cool guy is. I'm pretty cool guy right now if I say so myself. Yesterday this is I looked at my previous uh I looked at my previous story, me working out, and I posted it. See, like big muscles, I was doing this. I compared it to my own body right now. It's pretty the same. So it's kind of disappointed, you know. Fair. I've been doing this for basically 2 years now. Fuck you. Okay. And I guess I expected a little bit more progress, but that's fine. I'm not doing this to get buffs mainly. I'm just doing this to live long, have consistency in my life. Alright, anyways, I'm gonna watch some videos while I'm while working out. I think that's gonna turn out right. Well, watch Chucky Tom, you guys. He's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do that too. That's fine. Fix some of these first. And I'm gonna turn on this time. Yeah. It'll be Turkey Tom's channel. I highly recommend. Why not? Okay.
This is my team, and we get everything done
Ah!
at Sarah is a senior project manager, and she has never.
Disclaimer. This video discusses some pretty disturbing stuff, from a horrific crime to the details that led up to it. Viewer discretion is advised. Additionally, do not attempt to contact anyone named. This video has been created for the purpose of documentation, not to rile up a mob. Thank you. On the afternoon of February 10th, 2026, an alert was issued in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. There was an attacker at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. A few hours later, that same alert was canceled. Not because the attacker was captured, but because he was dead. In a brief window of time, the suspect took the lives of 8 people, 6 of which were below the age of 14. He also injured another 27 before taking himself out.
2 victims were airlifted to hospital with serious or life-threatening injuries, and a 3rd victim died being transported.
Over the next 2 weeks, the internet did what the internet does, digging up the perpetrator's digital paper trail. They found his Reddit account where he confessed to burning his own house down while under the influence of powerful psychedelics. Then his Roblox, where he created a mass tragedy simulator, fantasizing about the attack years before it took place. And most disturbingly, posts on another website I can't name, because if I do, YouTube would probably take down this video. Let's get into one of the most bizarre and gut-wrenching stories I've ever covered. Tumbler Ridge Secondary School had less than 200 students, and the city of Tumbler Ridge itself has fewer than 3,000 people in total. Although obviously all incidents like these are horrific, it really adds to the shock when it takes place in such a small town. Oddly, despite the attacker's body already being identified by the police, very few details were released to the public, with the authorities saying they wanted to keep as much information private as possible.
We're still trying to determine a lot about this stage right now. We believe we've been able to identify the shooter, but for privacy reasons and obviously for the conduct of the investigation, we're not releasing that information at that time until we're assured that we've connected with the appropriate people.
Usually, this kind of treatment is reserved for when minors commit crimes. However, Tumbler Ridge locals didn't share the same sentiment, wanting the information to be out there as soon as possible. Moments after the attack had taken place, a woman named Anna made a Facebook post. "Hi everyone, I'm from Tumblr. I moved here a few months ago, and I'm gonna say this is the biggest tragedy that I've ever seen in my life. This young man dressed up as a girl killed his mom, kid brother, and sister, then decided he was going to go to the high school to make a scene." When Anna posted this, even the number of deaths was still up in the air, so a lot of this information was simply unconfirmed. The suggestion that the killer was transgender, or at least cross-dressing during the attack, was indirectly confirmed by the cops themselves, when they did things like describe the shooter as a woman in a dress, but then also refer to the attacker as a gun person, instead of gun man or woman. Soon after, a man named Cole also came forward to tell a similar story. Suspect has been confirmed to be a transgender teenager. I live 4 doors down the road and was on scene initially, and the suspect killed his mother and brother with a shotgun and then killed 7 more at the high school and injured 25 more. Unlike Anna, Cole at least sounded like he had some degree of information sourced directly from the police. One of the photos he attached in his post came from a Facebook account under the name Jennifer Strang. It shows a gun safe, which is apparently inside of a bedroom, seeing as a mattress is on the floor next to it. The post also had a caption attached: "Think it's time to take them out for some target practice." People also noticed that the date on the picture was August 6, 2024, so it couldn't have been directly related to the attack. Although it's worth saying that we don't know if this was a tongue-in-cheek statement alluding to the attack being planned earlier and he just didn't go through with it, or if this was just meant to be taken literally and he was going out for some target practice. Cole also attached a photo of a cop standing in the street outside of his car, which could have been taken outside the shooter's home or outside the school. Going back to the first image, once it was posted, someone in the replies said this: "I just looked up that Facebook account, and that picture is taken by a mother living in Tumbler Ridge. She is employed and not a teenager." Cole himself then came back to say, "The Facebook is the mom, the victim of the shooting by her trans son. Like I said, this isn't confirmed yet by media, but it will be. I know the scoop as I live on the street, so just wait for official confirmation. Within a few hours, someone else in the replies added to the speculation that the attacker's name was Jesse. While this couldn't yet be confirmed, people poured through the Facebook account that Cole had provided, and quickly they found the Jennifer Strang Instagram, which had a few posts that really stood out. One of them was about Tyler Robinson, the alleged, for legal reasons, killer of Charlie Kirk. The post that she shared claimed that Tyler was right-wing, while Jennifer herself left a caption saying, "I'm glad I'm not far-right or far-left. Political extremism blinded by rage is mental." Jennifer herself seemingly identified as a conservative-leaning libertarian, and she voiced her support for the hashtag #ProtectTransKids. Due to the fact that she wasn't openly political in any other regard, people further suspected that she was the Tumbler Ridge shooter's mother, and that she was supportive of his transition. Also on her page, they found this picture, with photos of Jennifer, a little kid, most likely the aforementioned brother of the shooter, and a teenager, who they suspected was the shooter himself. Around 3 a.m. on the day following the attack, a Twitter user named Amy Ham summarized the most recent findings and contributed her own, saying this: "Two locals identified the shooter's family and claimed a trans-identified male son killed his mother and brother before going to the school and killing more victims. This has not been confirmed by police. Here's what I can say so far. The victim they've identified does have a 17-year-old son, and a Facebook profile with the same last name as the alleged mother lists she/they pronouns. And, disturbingly, I happen to be in a private Facebook group with the alleged victim. She expressed concerns about this child, who would be the alleged shooter, 10 years ago, when the son was 7, for taking pleasure from hurting siblings. The alleged victim also expressed concern that the son was mean at times and that teachers were pushing for behavioral assessments. She asked that people not judge her for sharing because she just wanted help." With the most likely identity of the killer's mother established, another Twitter user by the name of Cosmin claimed to have reached out to her brother, Russell, who identified the killer as Jesse, her son. 5 minutes after this tweet was made, Amy Ham came back and shared the Facebook post from Jesse's mom, which read as follows: "Does anyone else have a 7-year-old boy or girl who is very slow? I don't mean academically. He's very smart. Just needs to be asked a million times to do anything at home and at school. And anything he does do, he has no second gear, let alone a third gear. Then, when it's playtime, he loves to run, scream, squawk, and sometimes he hurts his siblings. But he doesn't hit at all at school. The school wants him tested for a behavioral disorder. I signed the consent to test him, but am very uncomfortable with the idea. I took his iPad away over a month ago because I felt his behavior might have been from his iPad. He also has a huge heart and shows intense empathy when he sees anyone hurt, not by his own hand, but has a devious grin when he hurts his siblings. He covers things up and lies to get out of taking responsibility for his actions, which I think all kids try to do that one. No kids want to get in trouble. Any help or advice would be appreciated. No judgment, please." In another comment, she said, "I find at home he also has times where he can be very helpful and nice. Then other times he is pretty mean. So that makes me think it's more of a me problem than his problem. We don't spank or yell. So I don't think he's acting out because he's angry. We do have 4 kids, so I feel maybe he feels he isn't getting enough attention, but even though he doesn't need much of my attention, given he's almost 8, I still try to divide my time evenly, and I try to stay 100% calm while putting him in timeout, and not give him much to any attention when he's being bad, and a lot of attention when he does something nice. He is very attached to me and is somewhat territorial. He also baby talks at home, and his teacher says he never does it at school. Now, I am not a behavioral psychologist, but at least to me, what Jennifer is describing here isn't much more than some developmental delay. There are a lot of younger people who have similar behavior and don't end up doing what Jesse did. Additionally, here she mentions that he has 3 other siblings, one of whom would tragically become one of Jesse's victims. It's currently unknown why Jesse targeted his mom and his brother before going on his rampage. Regardless of that, it seems that all in all, even if he was a tad bit troubled at a young age, Jesse seems to have had a decently normal childhood. In this photo, we see him on his 13th birthday, firstly with some cakes, and then hanging out on a trampoline. Nothing super out of the ordinary. With that being said, something clearly changed during his teenage years. It's at this point he becomes much more online, and we start to see some more concerning behavior. In 2021, Jennifer links to a YouTube account on her Facebook saying this: "Check out my oldest son, Jesse's YouTube channel. He posts about hunting, self-reliance, guns, and stuff he likes to do. Subscribe and you'll get notifications when he posts new videos. He doesn't go on much other social medias, so this is his way of sharing his life." This post is linked to a YouTube account titled JesseBoy347, just enough information for internet sleuths on the forum Kiwi Farms to crack open Jesse's entire online presence. First off, they got archives of his YouTube channel, which showed that pretty much every single upload he made was directly related to fire.
Unsa ka? Unsa?
Nakamute ka.
Tare.
Babi, mag-war na ang Pilipinas, babi.
Okay.
Na US Army dira, babi?
Nay what?
US na kanang kuan? Army dira sa Australia, wala.
What do you mean US money?
Tega, war naman. So, possible nga ang mga kanang first na mga kanang spell ani? Basta, mga ano sa, mga, kalimut ko sinalan ani. Ano sa term?
Oh my god.
We have video titles like SKS Bumpfire shooting the forum Kiwi Farms to crack open Jesse's entire online presence. First off, they got archives of his YouTube channel, which showed that pretty much every single upload he made was directly related to firearms. We have video titles like SKS Bumpfire shooting the Canuck 12 gauge of some bottles, Mag Dump number 1 and number 2, and trying out the kids' Savage Rascal single shot 22 LR. Obviously, having an interest in firearms in general is not necessarily a problem, and most people who have this interest never do anything horrible. But it is worth noting that it appears pretty much every video we can see was related to firearms, and that this channel was posting in 2021, when he would have been just 13 years old. But based on her Facebook post, his mom saw this as an innocent hobby, at least at the time. A bit of a side note here that I think is important. One of the videos people saved before the whole channel was wiped is a screen recording of the song Pumped Up Kicks on Spotify. For the 3 people in the audience who don't know this song, it was an extremely popular hit in the early 2010s, and the subject matter is a massacre taking place in a school. This song has been referenced or linked to a number of previous killers, including Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland shooter, and Randy Stair, someone I already made a video about. Let's get back to today's subject. While the original name of the channel was JesseBoy347, the account name was eventually changed to Jess Uwu. Meanwhile, the profile picture was changed to a photo which read Jess01, with a picture of Hatsune Miku, the same SKS rifle which he often referenced, and a transgender flag as the backdrop. Meanwhile, one of the community tab posts simply reads, "I've been pretty, aimless," and has a picture of an anime girl smoking a cigarette. One forum user in specific, called Notorious, managed to do something pretty tricky. He went through Jesse's YouTube comment history to see if he could find anything interesting. One of the comments was on a video by Donut Operator. He's a Navy veteran and former police officer who often reacts to body cam footage and gives his commentary. The video Jesse specifically commented on was related to an active shooter in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where Donut breaks down what happened with the police response to the situation. Jesse saw the video and left a comment saying this: "If this was Canada, where gun laws are strict and the only guns you can use are like hunting rifles or 12 gauge that are only legal to store 3 rounds, I guess you can have enclosed pistols, but they are enclosed and you need to carry them in a case, and also have countless licenses and a good criminal record, and you need to ask the government if you can take it with you for hunting or gun ranges. No one is going to go through all that trouble to get a pistol, so the only chance they get is to bring a bolt-action rifle or a 12-gauge shotgun." Now, I want to say openly here that given Donut Operator is one of the largest body cam reaction channels on YouTube, there is no reason to suggest that Jesse commenting on his channel specifically has any significance whatsoever. This really could have been any channel, and Donut Operator's coverage is not out of the norm for his kind of stuff. What is worth noting is that this comment was left 6 years ago, so during the year 2020. Based on what he said, Jesse already had an extensive knowledge of the ins and outs of getting a gun at the age of just 12 years old. He also left a comment on another video, this time from Markiplier. The video is titled "The Problem We Need to Confront," and it's about the death of George Floyd, giving his take that Floyd's passing was unjust and the police were in the wrong. This take itself is pretty typical of what a lot of people think. What is not typical is what Jesse had to say. In my personal opinion, no lives matter. It doesn't matter what race is in power. People will be people, and people need to understand that. Given that this comment was left 5 years before the tragedy that took place, it's shocking to see that even this early on, Jesse had the opinion that no lives matter. Under any other circumstance, I would think this is just a joke, but Jesse says it in plain English. He does not value human life whatsoever. Given the crime he committed, it's clear that he also didn't value his own life whatsoever, being completely willing to throw it away and end his time on this earth quickly thereafter. Besides his YouTube channel, Kiwi Farms users also managed to tie the Jesse Boy username to an account on the game platform Roblox. For anyone unaware, it's the most popular game hosting platform in the world right now, with its peak concurrent players surpassing Steam in August of 2026. This is largely because it's heavily marketed to children, who have more free time than anyone to spend playing whatever Jump for Brain Rot is. Unfortunately, the platform has also recently become embroiled in a massive scandal due to its lack of moderation.
Many people have now become aware of just how many predators have been rampant on that platform for years, unchecked.
They are currently facing over 100 active lawsuits related to child safety, and they're being sued by multiple states over their poor conduct. At the forefront of the wave of criticism against the platform is Schlepp and Ruben Sim, 2 YouTubers who have spent years documenting the platform's missteps. So, once the name of Jesse's account was discovered, Ruben began digging up anything he could find. It appears that at some point, Jesse changed his username to @JustJesseGalUwu. In the currently wearing section of the profile, we can see that Jesse had a trans pride flag patch, while the rest of the outfit is some kind of e-girl costume. In addition to this, one of Jesse's favorited Roblox items was a hoodie with a hammer and sickle on it, the flag of communist Russia. Although I do want to say that I have no definitive reason to believe that Jesse's attack was politically motivated in this way, as a lot of people online will wear this patch ironically because it's been tied to meme culture for a few years now. Shortly after this discovery, Roblox moderation wiped the account. However, much of the data had already been archived.
I have this tool that I use for game developers called Easy, and we have this database of like hundreds of thousands of Roblox accounts that are associated with sexual activity. I did a scan of his friends list to see if any of them were in the database, and we didn't get any hits, but I noticed that one account was friends with a lot of accounts that were in the database. It just kind of looked off, like it had kind of a provocative, like sexually provocative look to it.
Upon further inspection, this Roblox friend of Jesse did in fact have some pretty racy content on his profile. Their avatar history showed a collection of not safe for work skins, including several that have what is supposed to be semen on their face. This itself isn't necessarily super important, as it's just one person on Jesse's friends list. What's much more shocking is something that they themselves created. When a Roblox account is deleted, not all of the associated content is necessarily wiped. People can create copies of their games and release them to the world. Schlepp managed to find one of his creations, called Remember No Roblox.
The shooter, for whatever reason, decided to make his game open source where anybody can go into the development side of things. And when I found out, I saw the game, saw like 3 little icons next to it, and I saw download a copy, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I had my girlfriend go into the living room PC, and she booted it up for us. And to our surprise, it was a mass shooting game. I mean, I just not, yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't a crazy surprise, but
This appears to be in reference to a highly controversial mission from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, titled No Russian. In the mission, the player is placed in an airport in Moscow, where a mass casualty event is about to take place. You're given the option to partake in it if you want to, but you can also choose not to, with no penalty to the rest of your game experience. This level was so controversial when it came out that it caused the mission to be removed entirely in the Russian release of the game. As for the Roblox game that Jesse himself created, it's essentially a mass casualty simulator which takes place in a shopping mall. We see him inserting an extensive array of real-life firearms to choose from. Then, there's a shopping center full of Roblox civilians. When they're shot, the civilians are programmed to display an expression of panic on their faces. It appears that most of the assets themselves are not of Jesse's own creation. He essentially imported a number of free models to create it, without any actual programming expertise needed. On one hand, the visual format of Roblox itself does make it somewhat hard to take this seriously because of how goofy it all looks. At the same time, it's extremely concerning that Jesse was fantasizing about this to the point where he created a digital version of the crime he would ultimately commit. And when you stack it against some of the more graphic stuff that I'm going to explain a bit later in this video, it's clear that this was not just edgy, tongue-in-cheek behavior. Instead, it was a part of Jesse's broader tendency to ruminate on mass tragedies. Unfortunately, as Schlep pointed out to me, Roblox has a consistent problem with this kind of content. Many massacres, like Sandy Hook and Parkland, have been recreated by communities on the platform. Another platform that Jesse had an extensive post history on was Reddit, the front page of the internet. His posts start in 2019 when he would have been 11 or so, at which point most of his replies were on the subreddits of various Roblox games. He also left a few on r/PewDiePie submissions, where fans submit posts for PewDiePie to react to. His first non-game related post came in 2021 when he posted a photo of his Chinese SKS rifle to the SKS subreddit and to r/Canada Guns. From this point onward, many of his posts became about firearms, although none of them seem very alarming on their surface, so I doubt that anyone in the communities he was active in suspected anything wrong at this point. Other posts show that he was infatuated with gas masks to the point of wearing one for decent periods of time for no real reason. After a burst of submissions, his account became mostly inactive during 2022, but he made a major return to Reddit the next year on the subreddit r/trans. Here, he says that he, a 15-year-old at this point, was about to begin his gender transition. He says he is terrified of needles and looking for HRT alternatives that don't involve them. This marked a sudden change in his posting frequency and the themes he spoke about, which now were mostly related to the topic of transgenderism. How do I avoid losing my libido once I start HRT? Do I have a good build for HRT? First time trying makeup. Many of these posts also had images attached, most of which are lost to time. But one of them that was maintained was a post to the sub r/transguns, where he shows himself shooting a Desert Eagle. While at this point, Jesse was definitely out of the norm for posters on Reddit, he still had yet to say anything super concerning. That would change once he became more open about his drug use. He made one post to r/RationalPsychonaut, which is a community dedicated to the discussion of, quote, altered states of consciousness, which, to be more specific, is a group that talks about psychedelics. The post is titled, "I went crazy and burned my house down my second time trying shrooms, but still have a desire to try alternatives." Here is what the body of the post says. "Hi, I'm gonna keep this brief. It's 4 a.m., got out of the psych ward like a month ago, and now I'm here. I'm not schizophrenic, unlikely to be bipolar. Diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, major depressive disorder, antisocial disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder. I tried shrooms once. It was a small, unmeasured dose, and it was chill. The second time I took it, I took 3 grams of Blue Meanie ground up into some peanut butter and had a complete break from reality and did a lot of irrational things. I felt like I was dreaming. Many consequences ensued. Now thinking about extreme harm reduction measures, considering restraint and low doses of DMT to test the waters and whether I remain safe or not. I feel it is the perfect choice as it doesn't last long. A sitter can for sure watch me if I am unable to escape their sight. Probably won't have the energy to anyways. I don't know, kinda high right now and just typing out some stuff. Please give input." Anything helps. Just wanting to go all out on the harm reduction for my experimenting. I'm almost at a loss for words for how much of a red flag this is. For the unaware, DMT is an extremely powerful hallucinogen. Among people who have used it, it's known for its intensity, causing visual hallucinations, ego death, and oftentimes encounters with entities. Basically, people imagine meeting some spiritual figure while on the drug, whether they be the machine elves, spirit guides, aliens, etc. Jesse's interest in this substance is extremely concerning, considering that according to him, doing psychedelic mushrooms, which are much less powerful than DMT, caused him to burn his house down. Clearly, this is not someone who is very forward-thinking at this point in time. I'd also like everyone to keep in mind that Jesse is saying all of this to Reddit while high and being fresh out of a mental institution. In the comments, he clarifies that it was a fully intentional fire, which led most users in the subreddit to simply tell him that he shouldn't do psychedelics anymore if that was his reaction. Now, it appears that Jesse's reason for doing these substances in the first place was a general state of being mentally unwell. He thought that they would provide him some respite from his typical mental anguish. Users on the thread told him that these powerful substances are not going to fix anything. In one of the replies, Jesse said, "I do not view psychedelics as the answer, just hoping to experience something positive in my life." To which another user named Merce Mackey said, "I think that might be something you should search for organically." In the first place was a general state of being mentally unwell. He thought that they would provide him some respite from his typical mental anguish. Users on the thread told him that these powerful substances are not going to fix anything. In one of the replies, Jesse said, "I do not view psychedelics as the answer, just hoping to experience something positive in my life." To which another user named Merce Mackey said, "I think that might be something you should search for organically for a while until you're in a better place mentally. Psychosis is more likely after it's happened once. Give your brain a break and see a professional, and maybe give them another go when you've got a better headspace to navigate." Unfortunately, he didn't take the advice, partly because, as Jesse explained in another comment, professional help wasn't wasn't helping. As he puts it, I've undergone every single procedure and treatment they have. ECT, meds, all of it. The next step is ketamine if I don't stabilize on the professional end. Speaking to many therapists. Jumping a bit forward here in the timeline, I do want to note that this story about an arson happening was actually confirmed by one of their neighbors. Melanie spoke to the media, saying, a couple of years back, he lit their house on fire because he was trying to kill his own family. It almost completely burnt down. He was just sitting out in the front when the fire trucks arrived. Melanie also said everyone on the street saw the blaze, adding that most of the inside of the house was destroyed. Given that this person didn't provide any more inside information, we can probably assume that they are making an assumption that this was an attempt to kill everyone. It is possible it was just a complete mental break from reality, and Jesse grasp the consequences of what was happening or what he was doing. I'm not trying to defend his behavior here. I'm just saying we don't know specifically what was going on inside of his head when this happened. Who knows what he was seeing? But at the same time, this is a clear instance where Jesse should have been given some more serious professional help beyond his current treatment. Clearly, whatever therapy he was getting and whatever antidepressants he was taking were not enough. Going back to the Reddit thread, Jesse says in the replies that he wasn't even on probation when he was making these posts. While I do understand that he was young when this incident happened, at the same time, normal 15-year-olds do not burn down houses with their family inside them. I'm no doctor, but putting him in some kind of facility long-term seems pretty fair. Jesse's interest in powerful substances continued past this point, including in the drug 5-MeO-DMT. While DMT is powerful, the difference between that and 5-MeO-DMT is like the difference between a normal guy who goes to the gym and a guy who blasts the most powerful steroids imaginable. 5-MeO-DMT is known to be anywhere from 4 to 20 times more potent. For example, people who take DMT describe hallucinations, like the aforementioned Machine Elves or seeing a Tool album cover. Meanwhile, those who take 5-MeO describe something much more intense, with the most common report being a total whiteout. Infinite white light that replaces all of your surroundings, meaning a total break from perception and reality itself. Clearly, this is not a drug that Jesse should have been using, and yet his interest persisted. In a post he made to the DMT subreddit, he wrote, "Yo, what's the danger in using 5-MeO-DMT alone? Genuinely don't know. Not trying to die. I do NDMT frequently, and it seems to be completely safe for me. I am on sertraline 280 milligrams, which is an SSRI. On rare occasion, I take 2 milligrams of risperidone for sleep purposes. That's an antipsychotic. I also smoke a decent bit of weed. I had a complete mental break on 3 grams of mushrooms. When this happened, I was on another SSRI and another drug. I'm not able to have a sitter for every dose of DMT, but I am able to have a sitter occasionally. Would 5-MeO need a sitter? Would it interact differently with meds?" This post was made a full month after the one where he confessed to burning his house down, and yet his use of these extremely powerful substances persisted. Once again, Reddit users were very forthcoming about the extreme risks of using this drug, saying that it could lead to respiratory failure and death by overdose. But this was clearly not a concern for Jesse, as he had already ignored all the previous warnings about the risks of DMT and proceeded to take it anyway. And now he was looking to take the Mount Everest of psychedelics. According to another post, he was also a frequent pot user at this point in time. In any other circumstance, and coming from any other person, this is not something I would say is out of the ordinary or something to be concerned about. But given his history, this is not someone who should have been using anything that a doctor isn't prescribing. We don't know his full legal history, but I suspect that he did something else that got him into trouble, because in April of 2024, he was on Reddit asking people how to remove traces of drugs from his urine, presumably because he was getting drug tested. With his substance use mostly covered, another thing that Jesse made a lot of posts about was his gender dysphoria. Here's a post he made to the subreddit r/male to female. "Hi, I kinda need help. I, male to female, 15 years old, am trying to get hormone replacement therapy for my transition. As of now, I have been on a 6-month wait list for visiting a specialist in Prince George for a month now. I am from British Columbia, Canada, and I live in a very rural area. I am noticing heavy changes in my appearance every month. By the time I'm actually able to visit, I may have severe damage from testosterone changing my body. This is extremely stressful. The uncertainty not knowing how the HRT will even affect me, not knowing if I'll ever be me, but add on to it the slow degradation of my body in front of my very eyes, awaiting this appointment. It really hurts. Is there any way, literally any possible way, I can speed up this process? I've heard that a general practitioner in British Columbia can technically prescribe HRT to a trans patient, but I don't know. This would become a repeated theme for Jesse, often making posts about how his mental image of himself didn't line up with his real-life experiences, or how he wanted to be perceived. In another post in the same sub, he writes, "How do I stop comparing myself to fictional characters? I've been viewing a lot of anime-related content recently. Was never into it before. The characters are always so cute. I don't want to be 2D or anything like the characters themselves, but when it comes to their body shape and stuff, I often find myself comparing their semi-unrealistic, yet still physically possible, shape,
Hi, Dai.
specifically when it comes to height, BMI, and obviously their chesticles. I'm super skinny, so that sometimes makes me feel kind of good, but I'm pre-HRT, and my expectations are minimal for growth. I'm 6 feet tall. Why can't I be petite and small?" At the time this post was made, he only got a few replies from
Mapay
users
ng
on the
pagbata,
site.
boss?
One of them gives him some places he can watch anime, and then says that he'll get over comparing himself with age and maturity. But
Sige,
amid
ganun
this
na,
whole
boy.
turn of events, the post then got some significant
Ito, galit
traction
na.
outside of Reddit. A screenshot of it was shared to the Twitter account Males of Reddit, which is a page
Sige,
that
sige.
compiles Reddit posts from trans people to make fun of them. Their caption
That's
is,
right,
"Never
sige.
let your kids
Sige,
watch
sige,
anime."
go.
The
Enjoy.
tweet was then noticed by conservative commentator Matt Walsh, who decided to quote tweet it with the caption, "Hate to say I told you so." Given how much attention it was getting, and that Matt Walsh is a controversial figure in his own right due to the nature of his content, it's probably not a shocker that a bit of drama then took place. The post made its way to the subreddit of Voosh, who you may recognize as a popular leftist Twitch streamer.
See, this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
The post to his subreddit reads, "Matt Walsh quote tweets account that posted a person's adult content without permission is a form of targeted harassment." That account has over 50,000 followers, and many of them are underage. As the political discussion spiraled away from Jesse himself, the underlying issue remained unaddressed. He was someone who, regardless of the whys and hows, was seriously mentally ill, something people only knew the full extent of after his attack. As far as the internet's investigation went, besides Reddit, the JesseBoy347 alias was running out of information, as whatever other social media accounts they found with it had little to nothing on them. But then they found something far more disturbing. It appears that Jesse was a frequent user of a forum dedicated to the sharing of not safe for life videos. Videos of people being hurt, deaths, things of that nature. I'm gonna avoid saying the name of this site as it has a lot of unsavory content on it, and I personally like having a YouTube channel. But one user on the forum section of the site discovered that Jesse had an account and began to post their findings. One of them was another YouTube channel, this one under the handle JesseString9423. The only upload is titled laugh.mov, and it shows someone sitting in what looks like a basement or maybe a shed, laughing hysterically while music plays in the background. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure if this person is even Jesse. The person in the video itself doesn't really look like him to me, especially when compared to other pictures we have of Jesse around this time period. As a result, I'm gonna censor this person's face. With that extremely weird video out of the way, there's some other information that came from this website. Photos from Jesse's account match the shooter's appearance, the firearms he owned, as well as stickers on his paraphernalia that matched his self-professed sexual orientation and his interest in Hatsune Miku. Kiwi Farms user Notorious went through his account and archived his posts. It goes without saying that making an account on a website dedicated to videos of people being hurt or dying is one of the worst red flags you can possibly imagine. As far as his post history itself, the only truly notable one, at least as far as personal information on him and his life goes, is where he claims that his stepdad attempted to take himself out in front of him while he was a kid. He also added that this same stepdad went on to beat him, although it's unknown if this is true. Most of Jesse's other comments are just admissions of what we already know, or at least can infer, such as him being into drugs. But obviously the most important thing to dissect here is, why is he active on a website where the main purpose is to watch disturbing videos of people getting hurt? In one post, he says that he personally thinks that young people people should not be watching these kinds of videos. The obvious next point to make is, wasn't he a young person watching these videos? The answer, of course, is yes. And he outlined his general misanthropy in another comment. I find it addictive. It's hard to not watch violent content. I'm just drawn to it. I don't think much of it, though to say it doesn't affect me is likely naive. I'm sure maybe subconsciously it does, it just doesn't feel like a big deal. I'm drawn to substances too. It's easy to get high and just zone out into videos of this stuff. Does it impact my mental health? Mine's probably already screwed. I've tried to stay away from watching this type of thing before because it really sucks me in and is a massive, useless time dump, but I never really saw any benefit. I think the idiots in the comment sections are more bothersome mentally than the videos, so I just try not to interact with dorks. XD. It's strange how casually he appears to treat watching disturbing videos of this nature. On one hand, it is true that many young people growing up have been exposed willingly
Bebe,
Uy,
bebe.
ako.
Tawanan kay bebe ba?
Ah,
Wala na may tao sa amo, di ba?
ah,
So basically siya ang sarang ng himuon. Una. what? Hindi pa type ka in chat.
or not to extremely disturbing content online. It's a pretty common experience to have seen live leak videos or things of a similar nature growing up, but many of these people are able to realize that it was bad for them and go on to live normal lives past that point. But Jesse himself made an entire account on a niche website which is exclusively dedicated to this topic, and he went out of his way to view this content regularly. And while we typically think of addiction as applying to things like conventional drugs or maybe adult content in today's day and age, him having an addiction to watching content this openly disturbing definitely shows that he had been completely desensitized to violence through the internet. Combine that with his prior post history, and it's unfortunately not a shock that he committed the kind of attack he did. In a reply to a post which contains another disturbing video, he writes, "I love these first-person perspective type videos. When the perpetrator records his or her own actions, it's always heat. Much like that Roblox game of his, it seems this was a way to vicariously live what he wanted to carry out himself." On top of all the other instances of Jesse's online footprint that I've already gone over, there was one for which I could only find an empty archive of, his TikTok. But according to the Vancouver Sun, this account used to have multiple videos of shooter Audrey Hale, but whether they were praising Audrey openly or not is something I've been unable to officially confirm. As all of these findings made their way to more mainstream venues of information, the media got to reporting on it, and a few new pieces of info also came up that hadn't been unearthed from their digital paper trail. A police officer by the name of Dwayne McDonald said that the cops had visited Jesse's residence multiple times over the past few years, even seizing firearms from it at one point. In an extremely unfortunate and tragic turn of events, despite Jesse's gun license expiring 2 years ago, the firearms that were seized were then returned to their household just 1 month prior to the attack. It was also found that Jesse's mom, Jennifer, had divorced his father in 2009, and since then had been working as a truck driver and at a local mine until she was injured in 2023, eventually being laid off from her job. It's described that about a year prior to this injury is when Jesse took a turn for the worse, as he no longer went to school and instead spent all of his time indoors, probably letting whatever mental problems he was struggling with fully take their toll on his well-being. I can't confirm this next detail beyond a shadow of a doubt, but according to people close to the family, it was actually Jesse's mom's idea to introduce psychedelics and hallucinogens into his life as an alternative means of treating his problems, which is pretty tragic considering it might have significantly contributed to whatever state he was in that led to him committing his final act. Based on what the police had to say, an exact motive couldn't be ascertained, nor was there any particular pattern to Jesse's attack, as he was, as they put it, hunting for anyone he could kill. The cops were eventually able to establish a clear timeline for the killings. First, Jesse used a shotgun to kill his mother, Jennifer Strang, and his half-brother, Emmett Jacobs. This was soon discovered by one of their neighbors, who, upon walking outside of their house, saw another one of their neighbors distraught holding a young boy. This kid was another of Jesse's siblings, who had just narrowly avoided the entire massacre, and most likely bore witness to the bodies of his family. Then, Jesse went to the nearest secondary school with a long gun and a modified handgun, where he took the lives of Abel Mwansa, Ezekiel Schofield, his half-brother, Emmett Jacobs. This was soon discovered by one of their neighbors, who, upon walking outside of their house, saw another one of their neighbors distraught holding a young boy. This kid was another of Jesse's siblings, who had just narrowly avoided the entire massacre, and most likely bore witness to the bodies of his family. Then, Jesse went to the nearest secondary school with a long gun and a modified handgun, where he took the lives of Abel Mwansa, Ezekiel Schofield, Takaria Lampert, Zoe Benoit, and Kylie Smith, all of whom were middle school aged. unpunished. During his attack, he also killed Shonda Avigana Durand, a wife and mother of two, although it doesn't seem he was purposely going after any school staff. Despite there being no specific pattern to his victims, Jesse clearly could have gone after older teenagers or school staff, but he deliberately sought out and targeted younger kids, most likely out of cowardice. There were also 27 other people who were injured to varying degrees during his attack, one of whom is Maya Edmonds, a young girl left in critical condition who has fortunately been recovering. Besides all of the families of the victims, Jesse's estranged biological father, Justin Van Rootseller, also spoke out to say this: "To the families who have lost loved ones, and to every person who has been affected by this senseless and unforgivable act of violence, I offer my most heartfelt condolences. I cannot begin to imagine the depth of your grief. Please know that you are in my thoughts and prayers, and that I share in the profound sadness that has settled over our community. As the biological father of the individual responsible, I carry a sorrow that is difficult to put into words. I was estranged from Jesse Strang and was not a part of his life. His mother declined my involvement from the beginning, and I was not given the opportunity to be a part of raising him. Jesse did not use the Van Rootseller name at any point in his life. While that distance is the reality of our relationship, it does not lessen the heartbreak I feel for the pain that has been caused to innocent people and to the town we call home. This entire town and the lives of everyone who's been affected directly or indirectly by this attack will be permanently changed by it. We can only hope that these inhuman acts of violence don't come to happen again." With that being said, given how common these events are becoming, it seems that to this day, law enforcement has a serious inability to identify these people before they commit a horrible crime. In perhaps the most dystopian sign of the times in this entire story, Jesse also had an account on ChatGPT. He was banned from the platform in 2025 due to what's described as violent behavior. However, they neglected to send the information to the authorities. We don't know what specifically was said to ChatGPT before the attack took place, but OpenAI is cooperating with the police.
Gabi, I go na.
Receive details on what those chats were in due time.
So in their view, based on
Gabi, I
what
go
we
na.
saw, there wasn't an immediate threat to someone,
Hala,
whether
patuloy
it
nun.
be the killer or the members of the public, that caused them enough concern to reach out to it. So I mean that's a bit of a concern. You know, what are their rules? What are they?
Oh my God.
Exercise caution, etc.
Oh my
Based on
God.
everything we know, Jesse was an extremely mentally
My
ill
God.
person from a low-income household. Their mental health issues were exacerbated, first by the use of extremely powerful psychedelics. Simultaneously, they spent a lot of time online, viewing violent and disturbing content to the point that they became a member of a community whose entire point was to engage with that kind of stuff. At some point, he stopped attending school, meaning he had nothing else to do but fall deeper into those habits and ruminate on his violent fantasies, which led to where we are now. I don't know what the solution is to preventing events like this in the future. What I can say is that in this case, Jesse clearly showed a lot of concerning signs that should have made it apparent they were a person with serious issues that should have been placed in some kind of facility long before this attack took place. Unfortunately, they weren't, and now this is where we're at. I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
We're now watching How Money Works. It's pretty good stuff, man.
Basement. Hala. No. Sabi ko.
Oh no.
sa ako, babae. Oh my God. Ano niya po dito? It's ako, may ada ka sa kamamaya, mas ako. Ito yun. Ano sa inyo? Kasi po, nawala akong rulo. Ako. Ma. Ulit na to.
whatever. I'm fun as shit. I'm fun as shit. I'm fun. Yes, sir. Let's go. And I want to be
You get
triceps.
everything done with Monday.com. Sarah is a senior project manager, and she has never.
Short-term rentals are
It always starts flat bench press, man. And it always starts at RDL. I mean, subsequently, RDL. Then tricep extensions. Then squeeze press. Then sure, go to a squat. And sure, shoulder press. Fuck. Can't get away from that. Okay. Chest, legs, whatever. Chest, legs, whatever. Chest, legs, whatever. And whatever. Ooh, that's, I don't wanna do that. Do this. Do this. There you go. I'll fix now. I'll fix now. When?
a $100 billion. Short-term rentals are a $100 billion market that have reshaped global tourism, accelerated a nationwide housing crisis, and created fortunes for early adopters. But now, customers, the government, the public, and the hosts themselves are turning their back on a concept that started out as a fun alternative to stuffy hotel chains, but became everything wrong with modern real estate.
All right, the party's over for Airbnb renters. The company said yesterday that its temporary ban on parties and other large, noisy events is now permanent.
I've put all my savings into my unit. I'm following all the rules, paying all the taxes, buying the business license.
Ultimately, our goal is to get more housing back into the housing market for people to be able to rent.
I just uncovered a massive amount of debt that Airbnb hasn't paid. On the books that they're hiding. Tens of millions, hundreds of millions, possibly even $1 billion plus of debt that they have not paid.
So we are looking around and are saying, what can we do right away that makes more homes available?
The short-term rental market took off when Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia tried to rent out a spare room with an air mattress to attendees of a conference because they realized all of the hotel rooms had been booked out. They called their service Air Bed and Breakfast, which was later shortened to the short stay app that you know and love or hate today. Airbnb is now worth more than hotel chains like Hilton and Wyndham combined. The company is by far the largest short-term rental company, and it has achieved excellent penetration into markets around the world where other similar peer-to-peer or network market apps like Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, and even Amazon have failed to take share away from local competition. It was a good idea. Customers loved it for giving them a cheaper alternative to outdated hotels, and hosts like the opportunity to earn extra income on a spare bedroom or even an entire separate property. But the four parties that make the short-term rental market work, the customers, the hosts, the public, and the platforms, are all now dealing with four unique problems that are threatening to undo this market and take out a lot of other real estate investments with it. The first problem lies with the people who it's hardest to feel sorry for, the hosts. Airbnb and other short-term rental platforms provided a unique opportunity for people to profit off real estate in a totally new way. Having a roommate existed long before Airbnb. But the platform let homeowners offer their spare rooms to travelers who could pay up to triple what a long-term roommate would pay, since budget was the reason that they were looking for a roommate instead of a place of their own. The extra income was nice, but the added flexibility of a short-term roommate was the biggest appeal to most people. If you had an extra bedroom to rent out in your apartment, you could find a long-term roommate. But then you run the risk that they are the type of person who is messy, loud, doesn't pay the rent on time, or is just a clash with your own personality. With a short-term tenant, any problems are only going to last as long as they're short stay. Other advantages are that payments are handled through the Airbnb platform. There was a rating system that controlled bad behavior, and if you ever wanted the house to yourself because family was coming over or just wanted a quiet week to yourself, it was as easy as blocking out those dates on the app. That was the early value proposition of Airbnb. But sharing a spare room and staying with a random person while on vacation only appealed to a certain type of alternative traveler. Most people who Airbnb are putting up entire properties for guests to use as exclusive accommodations. Instead of a short-term alternative to a roommate, the market became a short-term, higher-yielding alternative to conventional long-term tenants in an investment property. Property owners could make as much as double the rent from short-term stays after paying Airbnb fees than they could from long-term rentals, even if their property was only rented out for half the year. The downside was that short-term rentals required more effort because the property needed constant cleaning between stays and there was less guarantee of consistent income. But financial benefits were still clearly in favor of short-term rentals for properties close to cities and tourist hotspots. Large-scale Airbnb landlords, the Airbnb barons if you will, designed properties with the express intention of cutting down on the effort required from them. They fitted doors with keypad locks that could be changed remotely between guests, easily cleanable surfaces, inexpensive but fashionable fittings, and preferred properties with minimal landscaping. All of this cut down on the additional efforts hosts needed to put into managing a property. But like all good things, it didn't last forever. Airbnb advertised its platform just as hard to new hosts as it did to guests, and investors started buying multiple homes to turn them into Airbnbs. Some hosts turned managing their Airbnb properties into a full-time job, effectively purchasing a job as a hotel general manager. Other hosts took an easier approach. Realtors in high tourist areas started offering short-term property management services where, just like they would manage traditional long-term tenants, the realtors would instead manage the short-term rentals with some services even handling the listing on Airbnb. Their fee was higher, but the higher short-term rental price meant owners still came out ahead. The additional cash flows from higher-yielding short-term rentals also made it easier to qualify for more home loans because the additional income could be used to pay for the loan on the next property and the next property. The inevitable result was clear. For little additional effort, hosts could make more money from their properties, so the market became oversaturated and hosts started to struggle to rent out their properties enough to make it worthwhile.
What?
Short-term
Sorry,
rentals also
listening.
and invested in preferred properties with minimal landscaping. All of this cut down on the additional efforts hosts needed to put into managing a property. But like all good things, it didn't last forever. Airbnb advertised its platform just as hard to new hosts as it did to guests, and investors started buying multiple homes to turn them into Airbnbs. Some hosts turned managing their Airbnb properties into a full-time job, effectively purchasing a job as a hotel general manager. Other hosts took an easier approach. Realtors in high tourist areas started offering short-term property management services where, just like they would manage traditional long-term tenants, the realtors would instead manage the short-term rentals with some services even handling the listing on Airbnb. Their fee was higher, but the higher short-term rental price meant owners still came out ahead. The additional cash flows from higher-yielding short-term rentals also made it easier to qualify for more home loans because the additional income could be used to pay for the loan on the next property and the next property. The inevitable result was clear. For little additional effort, hosts could make more money from their properties, so the market became oversaturated and hosts started to struggle to rent out their properties enough to make it worthwhile. Short-term rentals also made long-term rentals more expensive, so the gap between what someone can make from a short-term rental versus what they can make from a long-term rental is narrowing. For many hosts, it's no longer worth the additional risk and effort to rent out properties short-term, and for the others that could only afford their loans because of the higher rent they got from the short-term rental yields, they might be forced to sell. That's just the first group in the collapsing market for short-term rentals, and they were one of only two that were in any way responsible for the shitstorm to begin with. So it's time to learn how money works to find out why short-term rentals got so big and failed so quickly. Short-term rentals were a good solution to a real problem. traditional hotels had become overpriced and didn't cater to what a lot of people really wanted when they went away on vacation. Hotels provide a lot of amenities like housekeeping, room service, restaurants, concierge, meeting rooms, gyms, spas, pools, valet parking, and 24-hour security. These services are nice, but they come at a price which is either directly baked into the price of a room or charged separately at a significant markup. These services also don't always align with what the vacation goers really want when traveling, which is a place that just feels like home in a different city. Airbnb cut out a lot of amenities that catered more towards business travelers and offered vacationers their own kitchen, multiple bedrooms for their children, and an element of privacy that couldn't be purchased at any hotel chain. It felt like a home away from home because in many cases it was just someone's home. Airbnbs were also much cheaper, especially when sharing a larger home between multiple friends or family members who would all need to book their own separate rooms if they were staying at a hotel. A study conducted by the University of Waterloo and Daniel Gutentag Hospitality Research surveyed customers booking Airbnbs in traditional hotels. The study found that 61% of all correspondents said that they chose the Airbnb as a budget-friendly alternative to even budget hotel chains. Despite the company's marketing as a way to share the vacation experience with a local host that can show you around a city, most respondents said that they did not care about this aspect of the service, and 70% stayed in a home that they had all to themselves, so they didn't have to share space with a random stranger. Despite people actually preferring not to share their short-term rental with a host, Airbnb still spends billions every year promoting this aspect of their service for a really important reason that will come up later.
Get an Airbnb and get a place to yourself.
Anyway, the things that made Airbnb are now either being lost or offered by competitors in 3 areas. The first is price. Airbnb is no longer an affordable alternative to budget hotels. It is now a premium option competing with premium 5-star chains. According to the company's own data, even though the number of bookings has only increased 17% since 2019, the gross value of all bookings worldwide has increased by 67%. Airbnb is just not cheap anymore. The second area where the platform is losing out is its monopoly on homes away from home. Hotel chains have significantly increased their offerings of apartment-style accommodations that do away with typical hotel services in exchange for larger rooms with multiple sleeping areas and kitchens. To many customers, these semi-serviced apartments offer a better value because they combine the known consistency of a hotel chain with the space and price of an Airbnb. The third area that turned customers against Airbnb was service. Hosts wanted to cut down on the work they needed to put into managing their properties, so they started putting more unrealistic expectations on guests about cleaning up before they leave.
Exorbitant cleaning fee, that will irk people, especially if you, the person staying there, has to pretty much clean the house themselves.
Overall, this is just a few bad hosts, but it has given the platform a bad reputation amongst customers who expect to be charged cleaning fees on top of already high rates. Compared to a hotel, where as long as there is not permanent damage, housekeeping will handle everything free of charge. If Airbnb's business was being a middleman platform between hosts and guests, then both of these groups having a bad experience is not a good direction for the company. But there is another group that has had it worst, and who are involved in the app whether they like it or not. And that's a third reason for the Airbnb bust. The public is sick of it. Customers can choose to stay wherever they want, and the threat posed by Airbnb and other short-term rental options has forced existing hotels to improve their offerings. Hosts were investors who need to accept that all investing carries risk. Most of them still own a home or multiple homes that they can now lease out in an overpriced rental market or sell likely for a profit. Neither of these groups have lost, unless they were really stupid. The people who did lose, though, were priced out of their homes because it became more profitable to rent to vacationers than long-term residents who needed a place to live. Poor renters don't have any power over the platform itself. But the problem of unaffordable homes in certain cities is becoming so bad that politicians are introducing new policies that will limit how many short-term rentals are allowed to exist and charging hosts additional taxes for running unregistered hotels.
If hosts are not playing by the rules, this legislation will require platforms to take down those listings.
Other cities have just made short-term rentals illegal without the same licensing as a normal hotel, making it so expensive that it's not worth it for the hosts to bother. The other group cracking down on short-term rentals are the people who you would least expect to be the heroes in a story about housing: homeowners associations. Owners associations in apartments and suburbs that have them are blocking owners from renting out their homes to short-term stays because residents who live in their homes don't like loud parties and additional security risks that come with the short-term guests. Some hosts are simply ignoring these laws and taking the fines into account as a cost of doing business. A report from McGill University's urban planning professor David Walksmith found that 45% of all short-term rental listings in Los Angeles are illegal in one way or another, and that the city could have levied between $56.8 million and $302.2 million in fines in 2022 alone. The semi-legal approach to rentals is still working for some hosts, but it's creating problems for the platform. Airbnb is spending hundreds of millions of dollars across the world fighting legal battles for the right to operate, and that's why they still spend so much on advertising their service as a way to see a new city with a local host. Even though most of their properties are rented out as whole new homes where a guest will never even see the person that owns their home, it's much harder to regulate shared short-term stays because it's harder to distinguish them from someone just staying with them. The folksy image of someone sharing their bedroom with curious travelers who want to see a new city with a local is much better PR than a multi-millionaire or institutional property investor who has just listed their 10th home with a tech company worth $80 billion. And that's the fourth cause of the Airbnb bust. The platform is losing its control on guests, hosts, and the general public. Airbnb has always had competitors like VRBO, but now incumbent traveler sites like TripAdvisor, Booking.com, and Expedia are launching their own short-term rental platforms like Turnkey or incorporating them into existing sites that already aggregate listings from multiple hotel advisors. Airbnb charges a host fee of 3% to the people listing their properties, and a service fee of 14% to guests. Some hosts have found it cheaper to advertise their properties through local agencies and split these savings with guests. Airbnb has about the same amount of technical overhead for a vacation stay as Uber has for food delivery or rideshare, but Uber can only make a few dollars off a small charge, where Airbnb can make hundreds of dollars from their 17% cut of every transaction. This has made the platform profitable where other peer-to-peer platforms have struggled to turn a profit, which is a great advantage in today's high interest rate environment, but it has also painted a target on the back of the company that has no competitive moat around their business model. Apart from their brand name and recognition, there is nothing to stop these new entrants entering the marketplace from taking market share away from Airbnb by offering a better service or charging lower fees. The bonus fifth reason behind the Airbnb bust was that the platform was never set up with longevity in mind. It has made billions in just a few years, and for its founders and early investors, everything else is just a bonus. That's not a bad thing. But if you're interested in businesses that have a bit more staying power, go and watch my video over on how history works to find out what it takes for a company to last 1,000 years. If you want to watch these videos a day early and get articles that will never be made into videos for YouTube, then subscribe to my email newsletter Compounded Daily to keep on learning how money works. Wasn't built in a day, but that's all it took for the civilization to fall when the last Roman emperor was deposed. And companies have it even harder, with only a select few lasting a century or so. According to Forbes, of the businesses that made the Fortune 500 list way back in 1955, only 12 were still around by the year 2014. That's an 88% drop, the corporate equivalent of an apex predator going extinct in a single generation. In your own lifetime, you've no doubt seen one-time behemoths of business go bust, broke, or get bought out. But even the sloth dodged a few asteroids, ice ages, and volcanic interruptions. That's why a few business lineages beat the odds without ever needing to become giants. The oldest company in the world is Kongo Gumi, a construction company from Japan who got their start building shrines and temples way back in the year 578. This company's start was as close to Jesus as you are now to William Shakespeare. However, even that is disputed because it had to be saved from liquidation by another company, not because it was a money-making machine, but because of its cultural significance. After all, isn't the same company if the name is the same, but the structure is as you are now to William Shakespeare. However, even that is disputed because it had to be saved from liquidation by another company, not because it was a money-making machine, but because of its cultural significance. After all, is it the same company if the name is the same, but the structure is different? What if it changes industries, but not the logo? It's like the old joke of the street broom that never retires because it keeps getting a new brush and handle. But today, we're not going to get bogged down in the philosophical weeds. Instead, we're going to focus on the main survival strategies that help a business to do one thing it's not supposed to do: survive. So it's time to learn how history works as we explain how to make a business that will last 1,000 years. Evolve or die. This advice might sound like a case of the bleeding obvious, but the corporate graveyard is filled with ghosts of CEOs who refuse to get with the times. MySpace was knocked off the top spot by Facebook because it focused too heavily on music. Microsoft was too scared to branch out into music players, which was how longtime rival Apple overtook in sales, recognition, and reputation. And let's not forget that Blockbuster committed financial suicide by refusing to go into streaming when Netflix was a startup looking for a buyer. So when it comes to the best example of how to know when to change things up, look no further than Nintendo. They may be known as one of the most formidable video game giants of modern times, with billions upon billions in the bank. Yet this company is older than video games, having got its start making playing cards back in 1889. At the time, Japan had removed the laws prohibiting Hanafuda playing cards, so Fushijiro Yamushi set up a company to capitalize on this emerging market. Soon, Nintendo was licensing third parties like Disney, but when the new CEO of the booming Japanese company saw the size of the warehouse owned by America's biggest trading card company, he was crestfallen by how limited his company could grow. Nintendo's attempts to pivot into more lucrative industries included taxi firms and love hotels, but it was only when a worker designed a toy claw in his spare time did the company focus on toy manufacturing. The success showed that Nintendo was closer to their specialism, but they still needed that one toy to become their niche. Lo and behold, video game arcades arrived. Let's not forget that these things are still technically toys, which was the reason Nintendo decided to give these things a shot. Again, things were going well, but not well enough. All they needed was to figure out what made their video games different to everyone else's. Then came along a young intern who designed Donkey Kong, and finally the company became a giant conglomerate in the world of consumer electronics. And it wouldn't have happened if they weren't prepared to experiment, pivot, and change the industry. But there might be times when it's better to find a stable market. Find a timeless product. Funeral parlors only need to worry about going out of business when someone cures death, so finding a market based around necessities gives you a stronger chance of making it through hard times. These are known in economics as necessity goods, which means they are goods and services consumers buy regardless of income levels. Think haircuts and food, plus the water, gas, and electricity for homes. It also includes addictive habits like tobacco and alcohol, as well as critical medicine such as insulin, plus hospital equipment like bandages, gauze, and face masks. In short, the common things everyone needs and buys all the time, but don't cost that much to the individual. At the end of the day, everything you use is made by a company, no matter how incidental. It's like that scene in Cocktail where Tom Cruise explains how even paper cocktail umbrellas are making someone $1 million. A look at the oldest companies in the world reveals their sectors include construction, hotels, food, drink, and paper. However, it's much harder to get rich on babysitting and toothpaste than it is on Bitcoin and social media. Then again, the tortoise beat the hare, so it depends on your priorities. The less glamorous your business, the more you can weather the storm over the next 1,000 years, no matter how many revolutions, invasions, and natural disasters come your way. Coke may be a worldwide phenomenon, but what it spends on advertising and marketing is almost what it makes in profit. It's hard to imagine a world without soda, but will their bubble burst eventually? Besides, this is only a means to an end. Once you've got enough cash, you can do the next step. Expand and multiply. It would be nice if your income all came from your work, but examining the biggest companies in the modern world reveals how businesses prop up their main enterprise with a series of revenue streams. Take Apple. Do they sell MacBooks to fund the development of iPhones, or do they sell iPhones to fund the development of MacBooks? What makes more money? Their cut on the App Store, or the sales of AirPods? They all exist within an electronics ecosystem with shared knowledge, but they are distinctly different as a plane is from a car, even when it's made by BMW. That's why the real trick is finding a subsidiary that is more profitable than your main area. And for that, we need to look at the business genius of George Lucas. This man did more to change the structure of the film industry than Walt Disney and Charlie Chaplin combined. Lucas has never shied from criticizing the studios, which is how he knew that he needed to find a way to beat them at their own game. So when they agreed to let him make Star Wars, he had an idea. Offer them a reduced fee for writing and directing in return for 100% of the merchandising rights. Let me say that again. George Lucas got 100% of Star Wars merchandising rights. How did he swing that? Because he figured out that franchises were the next step for tentpole releases. He saw that the real money was in the distribution window with toys, lunchboxes, t-shirts, and then, when the technology developed, video games. Collectively, more money has been made from Star Wars merchandise than the films. In fact, the initial line of toys from A New Hope made Lucas so filthy rich that he was able to fund the remaining movies himself. So, although other studios helped release them in theaters, every film after the first Star Wars installment was technically an independent movie, which is what Lucas wanted.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though he was a better businessman when it came to toys than movies, he's in it for the motion pictures. And that's why Star Wars is going to last 1,000 years, even when new owners Disney finally kick the bucket. Unless, of course, you don't care about becoming a cultural icon, in which case you might prefer this next strategy: consume and conquer. When the two brothers from Warner finally decided to get into the motion picture industry, they had no way of predicting that their company name would one day be AOL Time Warner. That name is ridiculous. Could you tell me what the company does from looking at it? Thankfully, it became the simpler Warner Media in 2018, though time will tell if and when the name changes again. But the point is that the name became so convoluted because the business uses mergers and buyouts to stay in the game. Its first major shakeup was at the start of the 90s when it merged with the owners of Time magazine. No doubt you've heard of it. But I know some of my audience haven't heard of AOL, which was a company that mailed you free internet on a CD. Yes, you heard that right. That might sound crazy to you, but for people of a certain generation, AOL was their very first portal to the internet. Heck, it was connecting people before Google existed. Even so, the merger between Time Warner Inc. and AOL was controversial at the time because it came at the height of the internet bubble. Some said AOL was overpriced, and others said it was about to become obsolete. It would be like buying MySpace a month before Facebook debuts. But this is key to Warner Media's survival, because a sure way to avoid getting eaten by a predator is to get to the top of the food chain at any cost necessary. To date, the Warner Company has merged, bought out, and spun off so many companies that it's like a Frankenstein's monster of a corporation. Each new acquisition is cut up and stuck on to the point that the company would be completely unrecognizable in structure and service if it wasn't for their legacy name or their repeated attempts to revive Bugs Bunny. The downside to this approach is that executives and departments come and go faster than the company changes letterheads, but the benefit is the ability to stay afloat during some of the most difficult decades of the economy. Most companies are too precious about their identity and product to risk such radical shakeups, which is why they go bust during a recession, market crash, or pandemic. But not Warner Media. So if your objective is to stay in the game for as long as possible, take a page out of their book by making your business about business. However, there is one final strategy that doesn't involve going public or staying private. Join the government. Time will tell exactly how successful this will be, but judging from the success of Chiquita Bananas, it doesn't hurt to become bedfellows with the state. You see, Chiquita is the successor of the United Fruit Company, whose trade of tropical fruit at the turn of the 20th century saw them jockey their immense capital for power and influence. By the mid-20th century, the company was flourishing and controlling vast territories and transportation networks across Central America, Colombia, and the West Indies. Granted, it was competing with the Standard Fruit Company, who later became Dole, but it had maintained a virtual monopoly thanks to its interest from the United States of America. In fact, the
Hey, what the fuck? Turn this shit on. Turn this shit on. Nah. Really gritty. Keep going on. Think of falling, holding on to all I think is safe. It's either thing. No tomorrow that I'm trying to escape. I came out when I heard thunder, but I'm down to one last breath. Really let me say, oh, I'm 6 feet from you. Baby, 6 feet ain't so far. Okay, maybe. Maybe. I'm waking up, thinking of falling. Even burning somewhere in this place. I cried out, heaven save me, but I'm down to one last breath. Really let me say, So please come stay with me. Something for you, you. What else? What else? What else? Bitch. At sinabi mo ang pag-ibig mo'y di magbabago. Ngunit bakit Di ba nila alam tayo'y nagsumpaan na ako'y sa'yo, na ako'y sa'yo, ika'y akin lang. Ibig ko'y sa'yo paibigin kahit ano pa ang sabihin ay kapalit ang mahal. Mahihintay ako kailan kahit na maabot pa ako'y nasa lahitan. At kung di ka makita, mag-iusap kay Banhala na ika'y hanapin at sabihin na ika'y hanapin at sabihin sabihin wala sa iyo ang alimut at sumpay na ako'y sa'yo ay akin lamang. Basta ka maghihintay ako kahit kailan kahit na maabot pa ako'y nasa lahitan. At kung di ka makita, makikiusap kay Banhala na ika'y hanapin at sabihin bahala sa iyo ay nakalimutan sumpay na ako'y sa'yo at ika'y akin. Matagal ng galing, nawalan ng gana, di na gumagustuhan. Para tayo ay walang matagal. Oo, sabihin mo may maramdaman. Di ka man bago sa paligid. Palihim ka na sa yakap ko'y lambing. Bawat pagtawa ko, ang bigas ng damdamin. Sagot sa tanong, bakit ka talaga nagbabantay sa'yo? Sagot sa tanong, bakit ka talaga nagbabantay sa'yo? Into my life, to my name, you have the most. Started to change. Wake up each day. By my side makes me feel things. Make me feel things like a chance. No, needed someone like you. Needed someone like someone. Oh. How did you know that someone like you? What? I needed someone like you in life. Think there is no empty space in my heart. Right time it's not. Okay, fine. Let's try this. I remember so well the day that you came. Você nunca vai Nossa, Okay, I'm curious about that. How do you actually play? How do you actually play? How do you actually play Off My Face guitar? I know before. I just forgot.
Into cybersecurity but don't have experience? The Google Cybersecurity Certificate uses real-world.
Okay, fine. I'm a capo. Chill. Okay. That's not the one. That's the one. Okay, so there's two. Okay, 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 okay. Fuck. Right? Yeah. I think you see. Huh? Yeah. What the fuck? I didn't know it changed. Ah. Fuck, fuck. Oh, yeah, I know this song. Ah, shit. It's a different chord. Okay, okay. Am I right? Okay. I'll find face lyrics. Go! This is pretty high. One time shit got me stoned. Higher than I've ever known. You call the shots now. You call the shots and I follow. Sunrise, but not still young. No words, but it's sticking tongues. If you let me. If you let me, I might say too much. Your words, burn. Your words burn my vision. It's your world and I'm just in it. Even sober, I'm not thinking straight. 'Cause I'm off my face in love with you. I'm off my head, so into you. And I don't know how you do it. I'm forever by you. Fuck. I know this. Oh shit. Right. My bad, bro. My bad. I forgot. I didn't disable my shit. One time Sherry got me stoned, higher than I've ever known. You come the shots. You come the shots and I follow. Sunrise, but the night's still young. No words, but we speak in tongues. If you let me, I wouldn't say too much. Your words burn my vision. It's your world, and I'm just sitting. Even sober, I'm not thinking straight. 'Cause I'm off my face in love with you. I'm out my head. The fuck is this? So off my head, so into you, and I don't know how you do it. And I'm forever by you. Fuck! Is that good? Is that good? No wonder I was confused. This is fucking stupid. One tight shit we got me stoned. got me stoned. What? Is that correct? What the fuck? Ah. Okay. I need the tab spot. Okay, go back. One touch and you got me stoned. One touch and you got me stoned. Higher than I've ever known. You call the shots and I follow. Sunrise, but the night fucking sunrise, but the night's still young. No words, but we speak in tongue. If you let me in, let's say. If you let me in, if you let me in, let's say to my your words from my vision. It's your world and I'm just in it, even sober. I'm not thinking straight. Cause I'm off my face in love with you. I'm off my head. So into you, and I don't know what to do. I'm overwhelmed by you. Okay. Memorize. One touch you can get me. One touch and you got me stoned. One touch and you got me stoned. Higher than I've ever known. Higher than I've ever known. You call the shots. You call the shots. And follow. No words, but we speak in tongues. What? Oh shit! Sunrise fucking Nigeria. No words but we speak in tongues. You let me say too much. Your words blur my blur. Your words blur my vision. It's your world and I'm just in it. Even sober, I'm not. Even sober, I'm not. Even sober, I'm not thinking straight. 'Cause I'm off my face. In love with you. I'm off my head. Fuck. Oh, I was right. So into you. And I don't know how you do it. I'll forever by you. Yeah, it's back. It's back. Oh my god, I was streaming for 2 hours. 3 hours. Oh my god. One touch and you got me stoned. Higher than I've ever known. One touch and you got me. One touch and you got me stoned. One touch and you got me stoned. One touch and you got me stoned. Ah! One touch and you got me. One touch and you got me. One touch and you got me stoned. Higher than higher, higher, higher than now. You call the shots. You call the shots. Ah, fuck! Sunrise, but the night still young. Sunrise, but the night still young. No words, but we speak in. No words, but we speak in tongues. No words, but. No words, but we speak in tongues. No words, but we speak in tongues. If you let me in, say, if you let me in. If you let me in. If you let me in, say too much. Your words, grandma. Your words. Oh, touch. Your touch blurred my. Your touch blurred my. Your touch blurred my. Your touch blurred. Your touch blurred my. Your touch blurred my vision. It's your world, it's your world, and I'm just admit if it's over. I'm not getting straight. 'Cause I'm on my face in love with you. I'm out my head, so into it, and I don't know how to do it. I'm all forever going by you. One touch, one touch, one touch, and you got me. One touch, and you got me stoned. Higher than I've ever known. Higher than I've. Higher than I've ever known. Your constructs and I fell off. Sunrise, but the night's still young. No words, but we speak in tongues. If you let me out, say too much. Your blur, your touch blurred my vision. It's your world and I'm just. It's your world and I'm just in it. Even sober, I'm not thinking straight. 'Cause I'm off my face in love with you. I'm out my head, so into you, and I don't know how to do it. I'm all forever by you. Okay. See, first lyrics. One touch and you got me stoned. Higher than I've ever known. You call the shots and I fell off. Sunrise, but the night's still young. No words, but we speak in tongues. If you let me out, say too much. It's your world and I'm just sitting even sober. I'm not thinking straight. 'Cause I'm on my faith and love with you. I'm on. One touch and you got me stuck higher than I've ever known. You call the shots and I follow. Sunrise, but the night's at low. Words, but we speak at times. If you let me out, if you let me out, say too much. Your words turn my vision. It's your words and I'm just sitting even sober. I'm not thinking straight. 'Cause I'm off my faith, love with you. I'm off my head, so into you. I'm off my head, so into you. And I don't know how we do it. I'm all forever ruined by you. Okay, go back. I got it back, brother. Okay, let's Bye-bye. Oh shit.